The Cabinet has approved a proposal to develop the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm as a joint venture. There are 99 tanks in the oil tank farm. Based on the proposal, 14 oil tanks will be given to the Indian Oil Corporation and 24 to the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. The remaining 61 tanks will be run by a company called Trinco Petroleum Terminal Private Limited. The Indian Oil Corporation will hold a 49% stake in this company, while the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation will hold a 51% stake. Recently, Energy Minister Uday Gammanpilla had said Sri Lanka would receive $500 million through this deal. What is the true value of the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm, for which officials have fixed a tag of $500 million? The Trincomalee harbour, situated in the northeastern coast of Sri Lanka, is a large natural harbour of strategic importance. The entrance channel to the harbour is more than 500 metres. The Trincomalee harbour is surrounded by a foul point on the southeast and Fort Frederick on northwest. It is the world's second largest natural harbour that can berth several ships at a time. The construction of the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm began in 1928 and ended a decade later. This was at a time when the Trincomalee harbour's position was crucial during the Second World War. Considering its importance during wars, the oil tank farm was built on an 850-acre land as a fuel hub for the British Royal Navy. Although 103 tanks were built on the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm, only 99 are remaining at present. Some reports suggest that when 2 tanks were being built to store water, the 100th tank was built instead of the 99th, as it was considered to be an unlucky number. 14 tanks near the Trincomalee harbour make up what is known as the Upper Tank Farm. The 45-foot-tall tanks can hold a capacity of 12,500 metric tons or 14.04 million litres. Underground fuel pipes running up to 56 kilometers have been manufactured from a high grade of steel. The single trips of steel are formed into continuous strips by riveting. The British who constructed the oil tank farm had built 1 feet thick concrete rings around tanks near the harbour. This is believed to have been done to withstand any possible submarine attack and to prevent the oil tanks from rusting. Our correspondent reported that the Lanka Indian Oil Company that controls some tanks has broken down the concrete rings of the tanks according to their wishes. The tanks at the farm are capable of storing petrol, diesel, kerosene, jet fuel and furnace oil. Fuel can be transferred from one tank to another as well. The Dolphin Terminal, which allows massive ships to berth at any moment, is also part of the oil tank farm. During the Second World War, the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm was the main fuel hub for the British forces. As a result, Japan launched an airstrike on the 29th of April in 1942. The Colombo Port, Bandaranaike International Airport and the Trincomalee Harbour continued to operate under the British Royal Navy and Air Force even after Sri Lanka gained independence in 1948. But former Prime Minister Sirimavo Bandaranaike took steps to reacquire the farm for the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation by paying a fee of 250,000 sterling pounds. This was done under the Ceylon Petroleum Act No. 28 of 1961. In 1985, India had expressed willingness to run the oil tanks during the government of J.R. Jayawardena and tried to implement it through the Indo-Lanka Accord signed in 1987. An annexure to the agreement shows it agreed that the development and the operations of the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm should be done through a joint venture involving India and Sri Lanka. But India had practically gained control of the oil tanks through a Memorandum of Understanding signed in 2003. Various views are being expressed on this matter at present.
An agreement had been signed on the 29th of July 1987 to jointly develop the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm with India. But according to the agreement signed on the 7th of February 2003, all 99 tanks were leased out to India for 358 years. Although attempts were made to regain control of the oil tank farm through the agreement signed in 2017 between Malik Samaravikrama and Sushma Swaraj, they weren't successful.
Malik Samaravikrama Sushma Swaraj අවබෝධතා ගිවිසුමෙන් මෙම ටැංකිය යම් ප්‍රමාණයක් ලංකා IOC සමාගමෙන් අතුරුබදු ලබා ගැනීමට උත්සාහ කළා. ඒ උත්සාහයත් සාර්ථක වුණේ නැහැ. ඇමතිතුමාත් එක්ක අභියෝග කරනවා ඕනෑම.
We are challenging the minister to come for a debate. The oil tanks haven't been legally given to India. as one oil tank was destroyed as they came under attack by the LTTE, Ranil Wickremesinghe strategically signed a letter with India and LIOC. That was done to prevent more attacks by the LTTE. The Memorandum of Understanding mentioned that it must be signed in 6 months. However, we didn't go for a legal agreement. From 2003 until today, if the LIOC has used the oil tank farms, then it has been done unlawfully. That can be reacquired at any point.
එයා කරලා තියෙන්නේ නීති විරෝධී හැටියට. ඒ නිසා ඕනෑම වෙලාවක ඒක ආපහු ගන්න පුළුවන්.
2003 වර්ෂයේදී ඉන්දියානු තෙල් සමාගමයි
IOC and the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation had signed an agreement in 2003. When agreements are signed in a way that it gives the tanks to them, there is a small issue regarding that. The land on which the oil tank farm is located does not belong to the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. But in 1961, we reacquired the oil tank farm by paying the British £250,000. However, the government didn't regain control of about 800 acres. Therefore, this deal can't be done through agreements like this. The agreements carry a condition stating that the agreement would cease to be in effect 6 months after the land is released. This means the agreement has lapsed 6 months after that.
මේ ගිවිසුම වළංගු වෙන්නේ මාස 6කට පස්සේ මේ භූමියන් නිරවුල් කරාට පස්සේ කියලා ගිවිසුමේ තියෙනවා. ඒ ගිවිසුම මාස 6න් අවලංගු.
The cabinet has already approved a proposal to give 100% control of 14 tanks and 49% control of 61 tanks to India in exchange for $500 million US. Assets like the Hambantota port, the Colombo port's West Container Terminal and the Colombo Port City have already been given to countries like China and India. What are the benefits reaped by Sri Lanka through these investment projects? On what basis was the value of the Trincomalee Oil Tank Farm capped at $500 million US? Isn't this causing Sri Lanka to gradually lose control of all its national assets?